What if everything you know about Marilyn Monroe's death is a lie? For 60 years, we've been fed a neat story of probable suicide. But the truth is twisted, messy, and far darker than you've ever heard. Was it really an overdose or a cover-up? To protect the powerful, buckle up, because today we're tearing apart the legend to reveal the shocking secrets Hollywood tried to bury. Don't look away. This isn't just scandal, it's the raw, haunting truth behind Marilyn Monroe's final hours. The Marilyn Monroe, born on June 1, 1926, in Los Angeles. Her birth certificate left the father's name blank, and her mother, Gladys, struggled with severe mental illness in and out of psychiatric hospitals. From 1935 to 1942, Norma Jean bounced between foster homes and an orphanage. She learned early that nothing was permanent. Love could vanish without warning, and survival meant smiling through pain. That childhood wasn't a rough patch. It was a training ground for the mask she would wear for the world. At just 16, facing the threat of returning to the orphanage, Norma Jean made a life-altering decision. She married James Doherty, a 21-year-old neighbor. It wasn't love, it was survival. While James went off to serve in the Merchant Marine during World War II, Norma Jean worked in a munitions factory in California. Fate intervened there when a military photographer noticed her photogenic quality, snapping a picture that would change her destiny. That photo opened the door to modeling a path to independence, visibility, and most of all, control. By 1946, she'd signed a contract with 20th Century Fox. But Norma Jean Mortensen wasn't a name built for movie marquees. The studio transformed her into Marilyn Monroe, a brand designed to sell fantasy. The name change symbolized a split in her identity. On screen, she was the epitome of beauty and desire, but behind the scenes, she was still that frightened, longing. Foster child, trying to be loved. Her early Hollywood career was a grind of small, forgettable roles, but Marilyn watched, learned, and delivered with unwavering professionalism. She wasn't just pretty, she was sharp, observant, and determined. One of her first significant appearances was in The Asphalt Jungle, 1950. Directed by John Huston, though her role was small, she stole the scene, proving she was more than just a pimp. But while she was earning respect among directors, Hollywood was building a prison for her, a typecasting machine that saw her only as the ultimate sex symbol, the naive blonde. She fought back, but the system was relentless. Her studio bosses wanted the fantasy, not the person. Even as she became one of Hollywood's brightest stars, she felt trapped. She studied method acting in New York at the Actors Studio under the guidance of Lee Strasberg, desperate to be taken seriously. She wasn't content with being a poster girl for male fantasies. She wanted to be an artist. Her personal life was equally tumultuous. Marilyn Monroe suffered from chronic anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Doctors on studio payroll handed out pills like candy, barbiturates to sleep, amphetamines for energy. What began as medical treatment turned into a crutch, then an addiction. She was fighting wars inside her head that no one saw, except maybe in the haunted look behind her radiant smile. And then there were the marriages. She married Joe DiMaggio, the legendary baseball icon, in 1954. To the public, it was a dream union, America's golden couple. But behind closed doors, it was toxic. Joe reportedly struggled with jealousy, unable to accept her status as a global sex symbol. One famous incident was during the filming of The 7-Year Itch, when her white dress billowed over a subway grate, creating one of cinema's most iconic images. Joe was furious, and an explosive fight followed. Their marriage lasted just 9 months, marred by jealousy, control, and emotional scars. Her second high-profile marriage was to Arthur Miller, the celebrated playwright. To many, it seemed like a union of mind's beauty and intellect. Marilyn moved to New York, studied acting seriously, and tried to reinvent herself. For a time, it seemed like she had found someone who truly saw her. But even that hope faded. Arthur purportedly grew disillusioned, calling her as flawed as his first wife and accusing her of infidelity in cruel, humiliating terms. These relationships weren't just breakups, they were public dissections of her private wounds. Marilyn was searching for the love and stability she never had, only to find betrayal and heartbreak that deepened her pain. Meanwhile, her Her addiction escalated. The pills designed to keep her functioning were destroying her. Her reputation in Hollywood took a hit. She became notorious for being late to set, sometimes by hours, or failing to show up at all. Directors and co-stars called her difficult, but they didn't see the woman who could barely get out of bed. Paralyzed by anxiety and self-loathing, her final film, Something's Got to Give, was a disaster. Frequent absences, health crises, and erratic behavior got her fired in unthinkable humiliation for one of the world's most famous women. The girl who once saw acting as salvation now found it a cruel stage where every flaw was magnified. And then there was the most explosive part of her life. Her rumored affairs with John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy. Marilyn was allegedly romantically involved with at least one and, possibly both, the most powerful men in America. Actor Peter Lawford, their brother-in-law, reportedly offered his Malibu house as a hideaway for their secret meetings. For Marilyn, these relationships may have felt validating proof that even the most powerful men in the world wanted her. But they were also dangerous, tangled in the world of politics, image management, and secrecy. Biographer Anthony Summers spent years investigating these connections. He recorded over 650 interviews for his book Goddess, uncovering serious timeline discrepancies in Marilyn's final hours. His evidence suggested a cover-up, an effort to protect reputations even at the cost of the truth. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her Brentwood home at the age of 36. The official verdict: probable suicide by barbiturate overdose, but the details have never added up. Her housekeeper, Eunice Murray, gave conflicting accounts over the years. In one interview, she even blurted, "Why at my age do I still have to cover this thing?" When police arrived, they reportedly found Eunice washing the bedsheets. Odd thing to do in a potential crime scene. Sergeant Jack Clemens, the first officer on the scene, said it felt staged, as if everyone there was rehearsing a script. There was also the medical mystery. High levels of drugs were found in her system, but no pills in her stomach. Was she injected, given drugs another way? Those possibilities were never properly investigated. Then there was Peter Lawford's haunting recollection of speaking to her hours before she died. She was slurred, ominous, reportedly saying, "Say goodbye to the president and say goodbye to yourself because you're a nice guy." FBI and CIA files confirmed that Marilyn Monroe was of interest because of her political ties and support of civil rights. Her phones may have been wiretapped. The idea that she could spill secrets to the wrong people during the height of the Cold War wasn't just paranoid, it was a real threat to powerful men. In 1982, the Los Angeles District Attorney reopened her case. They found enough inconsistencies to warrant investigation, but ultimately reaffirmed the original ruling, calling it suicide while quietly admitting the investigation was botched. Anthony Summers' interviews and the documentary, The Mystery of Marilyn Monroe, the unheard tapes offered chilling details like testimony about Hollywood's casting couch culture, where powerful men used aspiring actresses for sex, trading roles for submission. Al Rosen, an old-school agent, bluntly described this system, naming Joseph Schenck among the men who exploited her. Through it all, Marilyn Monroe remained both the victim and the symbol of Hollywood's darkest truths. She fought for respect in an industry that saw her as a product. She craved love, but found betrayal. She dreamed of being an artist, but was typecast as a fantasy. And in the end, her death remains one of America's great unsolved mysteries. Did she overdose in despair? Was she silenced to protect the powerful? Or was it both, a tragic combination of personal collapse and external conspiracy? If you found Marilyn Monroe's story as haunting and compelling as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's mysteries and untold truths. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Join us as we uncover the hidden stories the world tried to forget. Thanks for watching.